Xiaomi has been in Nepali market for quite a while now. Top of the line specifications र कम प्राइसको कारणले they have made their mark in Nepali market quite visible. My name is Ashish, I'm from Tekle and welcome to the full review of Mi Max.
Design. The Mi Max looks big and gorgeous. It has a unibody design with 6.44 inches of screen. Metal rails say phone ko waripari jancha and they supposedly provide a nice grip. The back has aluminum finish with fingerprint sensor on the top. The metal provides some kind of grip, but the phone is overall slippery. Every time मैले phone यो हातले समात्दाखेरि चाहिँ I'm cautious not to let it slip. But maybe that's just the downside of being such a big phone. Volume र power button चाहिँ right side मा छ, which are very tactile and have a good response. The headphone jack is on the top with a mini USB port and speaker grills on the bottom of the phone. Screen. The Mi Max has a 6.44 inches 1080p IPS screen with very less bezels on both sides of the phone. मैले युज गरेको डिभाइसेसहरुमध्ये चाहिँ this is one of the biggest screen I've ever seen. And the color reproduction is up to the mark. Also, it has Corning Gorilla Glass 4 for screen protection. For some people, it might seem too big, but once you get used to it, everything else feels tiny and less appealing to use. The same screen size is one of the downside of the phone. यो फोनलाई चाहिँ एउटा हातले युज गर्न एकदमै गाह्रो हुन्छ. Even for people with big hands, you have to use both of your hands to reach the notification bar at the top. This phone is rocking a Qualcomm Snapdragon 650 hexa-core CPU and an Adreno 510 GPU. It has two variants of RAM. एउटा चाहिँ 3 gigs of RAM with 32 or 64 gigs of internal storage र अर्को भनेको चाहिँ 4 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of internal storage. For the given price point, these specifications are more than adequate and they handle all the work with ease. Also, let's talk about the fingerprint sensor. यो चाहिँ डिभाइसको पछाडि छ and is easy to reach even with one hand. It is quite fast. It almost performs like other big flagships, but sometimes it glitches and wouldn't open at once when I tried to open. With no capacitive buttons, hardware of this phone is pretty solid. Mi Max ले चाहिँ Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow use गरिरहेछ as the operating system. It is pretty standard with some additional tweaks and pre-installed software from me. This phone has got features like one-handed use, which helps a bit while using with one hand. Also, अर्को feature भनेको चाहिँ Quick Ball भन्ने छ. It is very useful and works just like Apple's Assistive Touch. Aside from that, software is pretty standard. This phone has a 16 megapixel primary camera with f2.0 aperture and dual LED flash. यो क्यामेरालाई चाहिँ बाहिर फोटो खिच्दाखेरि चाहिँ राम्रो फोटोहरु खिच्छ. The color reproduction is standard, तर indoor र low light फोटोहरु चाहिँ grainy हुन्छ and color reproduction varies in two different shots. अनि manual mode चाहिँ standard छ with not much of interesting features. The secondary camera is 5 megapixel with f2.0 aperture again, with features like face detection, touch focus, etc. The usual stuff. र यो क्यामेराको dynamic range चाहिँ ठिकै छ. It is pretty good and works fine for selfies and stuff. Performance and overall. With all the given features and the price point, the phone performs pretty well in my opinion. यसको bad side भनेको चाहिँ it does have heating problem when used extensively for a long period of time. And also the screen just froze once while I was gaming. Aside all that, यसको overall performance चाहिँ राम्रो छ and the phone is good for multimedia consumption. For the given size of the device, I wish they had front-facing speakers, but overall it seems fine. The overall pros and cons of the Mi Max. Pros: big screen, good for multimedia consumption and great design. And the cons are hard for one-handed use, not a great device to carry around in pockets, and the software is very laggy.